Hi guys, welcome back. It's your girl Yummy.com. Thank you for joining me, my internet friends. We are doing another Minority Report, and we're doing a Minority Report on one of the shows I loved most when I was younger, specifically when I was actually young, like in my early teens. I loved this show so much. I praised it to high heavens. I felt so connected to one of the characters, even though I was nothing like her, but she was what her in the later seasons is what I envisioned myself to be as an adult. And this is a show that's actually getting a reboot with adding a little color to the cast, which is what we do here on Minority Replacements. So, the show we are talking about that is already adding some color on its own, unwarranted by me specifically, I mean it's probably warranted by somebody but not me, is the seminal classic Gossip Girl.
You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
Yes, Kristen Bell's voice haunts all of our teenage nightmares. Gossip Girl was a show all about the upper class elite. Finally, those minority get to shine. What was really interesting about the show was the fact that it was kind of the first no-holds-barred teen drama that actually talked about illicit activities. You know, Gossip Girl walked so that Euphoria could run to HBO. What I'm saying is basically that if it wasn't for the fact that Gossip Girl was around and doing all this scandalous behavior by teens at such a young age, then it would have never been quote-unquote normalized in the media, which is not necessarily saying that the actions of those teens are normalized, but just shedding a light on the fact that there are teens who actually do these actions, especially when they are a part of the 1%. Happening. I mean, I'm not saying it's a documentary series. It's clearly a CW drama, and we know CW loves its filth. Talking to you, Riverdale. That being said, it is probably one of the most iconic teen shows for teen girls at that time. If you were a teen girl at that time, you read the books, you watched the show, or you at least knew about it. You know, it was so seminal. And all of the characters were so iconic in their own. Again, it's a show in which it's on the CW. It's hard to love some of the characters.
I'm Chuck Bass.
And then eventually you have to root for everyone. Even your villains become your heroes at some point. Talking to you, Georgina. But it also was special because it starred very famous actors today. Some of the best actors. I think that as a teen show as a whole, it produced the best next generation lineup of actors. Blake Lively, who's still an amazing actor today.
You're gonna kill us.
Well, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? You two will clearly go to extraordinary lengths to take me down, and you know too much. So I feel like a murder-suicide is the only fitting end for you two. And if you kill him, I think our insurance still covers that, right? I mean, sort of perfect. One door closes and another one opens. Thank you for that.
You always have been fucking crazy, haven't you?
Have I?
Leighton Meester, who I'm constantly campaigning for to get more roles because she's phenomenal. And she was in Single Parent.
You are a grown man. All right, you can handle your parents getting divorced. The thing you should really be upset about is that they are going to die. Not today, but soon.
Lovely and amazing. Super different from her character on here. Shows she has range. So Penn Badgley, who was, of course, everyone's other Tucker when he was in John Tucker Must Die, but cave into this role, gave life to the role of Dan's and his sideburns because those were iconic. And of course, moved on to be Joe, the creepy stalker in You that took the world by storm. And of course, we also have my favorite actress from this show. I have to say it because she's the only actress who I followed their music career after. I mean, I followed Leighton Meester's music career, but I'm talking about Miss Jenny Humphrey herself, the little Whoville girl, Taylor Momsen. When she left that show and joined the Pretty Reckless, I was right at my Warped Tour phase, so it was perfect timing. So I was like,
makes me wanna die. I'll never be good enough. Makes me wanna die. And everything you love, but a thing that makes me wanna die.
Sorry, that was off track. Anyways, other than supplying us with an endless plethora of great actors and, you know, pretty good fashion, amazing fashion, that's what that show was known for. It made the headband iconic, thank you Blair, and it really just normalized luxury, you know, dressing to the nines for every occasion. And I kind of think that, again, that's one of the things that it's one of the bigger shows that help normalize how we dress today. Not necessarily taking that fashion into account, but taking in the idea that we can be dressed up for whatever. Like, you could be going to the grocery store and you make that your runway.
I could be a perfect type. I could be the girl you like. One kiss and you change your mind. One night and I change your life if you just let me. But I don't wreck no homes of mine. And if you're not sure, then take your time. But just know that I might not be around when you let her down easy. When you feel lonely, though you're not alone, you know where to find her down easy.
And that was always a big idea in Gossip Girl, and I think that's why we all have TikToks now. So thank you, Gossip Girl. With that being said, we're going to go, what we do here on Minority Replacement is we take our favorite all-white cast, in this case Gossip Girl, and we add some color to it by recasting them. And yes, I'm well aware that this show has already technically been recasted because this is coming out. Hopefully this video gets approved and monetized. This video gets approved by the time that the new Gossip Girl reboot comes out. But I'm aware that there's a new Gossip Girl reboot with all cast, with a new Gossip. I am aware that there is a new Gossip Girl reboot with a new cast of characters, all rangings of different colors, ethnicities, backgrounds, genders, orientation, sexual orientation, gender identities, all of the lots, of course. But before they did that, I had this idea, and I refused to be outbeaten by HBO. So, here we go. But to be able to do this, I need my, of course, handy dandy notebook. We'll just start where I feel like we should start, which is the youngest, which is Jenny. I was originally not going to recast Jenny just because, you know, she wasn't there after a while. She went to the Upper Side because she was it was too much for her. The life of the Upper East Side was too much for her to handle. Chuck stole her virginity. It was real weird, that whole time period. But I did want to not cast her. I didn't want to not cast her because she was one of my favorite characters when the show started. I loved little Jenny Humphrey, little J. I loved her relationship with Eric. I loved her relationship with her brother Dan. They had a great sibling friendship that was awesome. And she was just everyone's protege. So I really did want to include her. So for the role of Jenny Humphrey, we have Jenna Ortega.
Tonight is for the two of us. Tonight is for the two of us. When we lean closer in the seats.
Jenna Ortega, if you don't know, is a young Latina actress. She is amazing. I know her best as the voice behind Elena of Avalar. Because I do like that show still, even though I'm not a child. Really do like that show. But most importantly, she's been in a lot of horror stuff, which is really cool. That I like. She did that babysitter movie on Netflix.
Well, I think snakes are the most misunderstood reptiles. My favorite movie vacillates between Deliverance or anything by Rob Reiner. And I'm late.
What are you talking about? You're right on time.
Oh no, Principal Highbridge, my period. I'm 9 days late.
She also starred in the second season of the show You that I was talking about, that is starring Penn Badgley. She is very much in tune with who she is. She's very down to earth, and she's very fashionable. Cue the montage of Instagram pictures, guys. She knows what she's doing. She knows who she is. She dresses with confidence. She dresses her characters with confidence. She has a kind of a dark spirit to her that is very reminiscent of the late days of Taylor Momsen, of how Jenny started like going real goth, real black towards the end of it to like really solidify her Taylor Momsen roots. And Jenna has that same aura and can play that same aura, as we've seen, because she's recently been cast as everyone's favorite little sister, Wednesday Addams of the Addams Family. So super excited to see her in that role, and I think that she would kill as Jenny. Yes, she is younger, which is great. I think she's maybe one of the youngest ones on this list. They're all in the same age, but I think that she will play this character to justice. She'll play it up great. She has a fantastic voice. One of Jenny's assets was kind of her light husk that kind of went into her character, and kind of like the transcendence of her going from innocent to bad girl. And I think that Jenna can play that really great. She also has an edge about her. Like I said, she's played in horror movies. Even in the Babysitter movie, she was literally the edgy girl in the Babysitter movie with that weird bolt knot. I'm black, so they're Bantu knots, but they were whatever she was calling them, but they're Bantu knots to me. So that's why I kind of chose her as the person to play Jenny, because she has an edge to her. She's kind of young, fresh, very fashionable, great voice, and super interesting, like just super well-rounded as an actress, and has depth to her, and she already has connections to Penn Badgley. So, awesome. And that's who I would like to play Jenny. Next up, we have everyone's favorite, Dum Dum Nate. Nate was the quintessential white cis male rich guy who was super boring. Nate was never interesting. No matter how many storylines, no matter how many people he slept with, no matter how many times he accidentally went to jail, he was just never interesting. And I want to change that, because I feel like I read the book and he was a lot more interesting in the book than he was in the show. That's no fault of Chase Crawford. He tried his darndest. But I don't know. I think there was just something, there was so much. I think maybe even he wasn't even that boring. It was just the fact that there was so much going on around that he just blended in with it.
I had sex with him in the back of a limo.
Several times.
I had sex with you at a wedding while I was her date. Once.
And tended not to stand out. And the only time he ever really stood out was when he was causing drama between Serena and Blair. And no one has time for that, because they're an iconic duo. Best friends forever. So, in order to make him stand out more, I wanted to go in a completely different direction. Originally, I was just going to make him a woman, to be honest. Because, like, I feel like that would be so much more interesting if it was a lesbian triangle. But I was like, you know, for the sake of the first season and the plot and all of that, maybe let's, like, step away from that and save that for another day. However, I did want to still give him some edge. And one of the edgiest, actors who I feel like again needs to be in more things is Lance Lim.
Tonight is for the two of us. Tonight is for the two of us. When we lean closer in the seats.
Lance Lim is best known for his role that he played and portrayed on School of Rock, the Nickelodeon version, not to be confused with the actual Jack Black School of Rock. He played the character of Zach, which was the lead guitarist.
Ever play electric guitar?
No,
My father makes me play classical.
Hit me with some Beethoven.
That was awesome!
He was very funny in that, very earnest. And I think that if you made Nate more earnest, more like root forable, like if I wanted to root for Nate, it would truly give me turmoil at some of the things and situations that is going on in Gossip Girl. And I feel like that's the one thing he was missing. He is cute. He was boy next door, cookie cutter, had his own family problems, whatever. But I never cared enough because I never felt authentic and earnestly like I should be caring. There was not that level of like, you know, sincerity to him. And that's not saying the actor didn't play him sincerely. That's saying that the character, I feel like, didn't have any sincerity. Like the character of Nate never had any sincerity in anything other than his gaga phase for Blake Lively's character. So I feel like if you were to give him to Lance Lim, who again we know from School of Rock, he was also in a couple other things.
Spenders and the belts, I'm gonna give you a pass because the whole eyes, no worky thing.
You know, I'd kick you out if I didn't think it was important for my son to have black friends.
You're a cop, Dad. Do you have any idea what that's like for me? Me and my friends, we're not kids anymore. We watch the news, we see the videos. Some days it's all anyone ever talks about. And as far as everybody else is concerned, you're one of them.
I don't think he's been in enough things. Hollywood start to cast him, okay? Because he's a great actor, great young actor, good vocals, and plays a sickening guitar.
And you can tell me if I'm off, but I see it on your face when you say that he's the one that you are. And you're spending all your time in this wrong situation, and anytime you want it to stop, I know I could treat you better than he can.
Which I would like to see involved in this Nate character. If Nate was like less of just an annoying preppy boy who was perfect, but like an annoying preppy boy with kind of a rocker edge, I could see that. And one of the biggest ships for that show was in fact Nate and Jenny, because they were so connected at some point that I remember even rooting for Nate and Jenny. And could you imagine the rocker edge to our future Wednesday Adam and our old School of Rock Zach hooking up? I think not, but you should. You're welcome. That's why I wanted to give Lance Lim the role. I think that he would play an amazing Nate. I think that he would look great in a prep school uniform, and he would give a level of sincerity and heart to Nate that was not written in that character properly.
I think one of my favorite memories I said to her, like when we first were working on Mandevilla and we were on set, and I think we were eating lunch or something, and she was like, I just remember her just scarfing down food, and she was just like eating and eating and eating, and I was just like, wow. I was like, you know, you look like an angel, but you eat like a truck driver. And everyone around me just like looked at me and just started laughing. I didn't know like that was such a good, like I didn't really think about what I was saying at the time.
Next up, we have Chuck. Listen, Chuck, I have so many feelings about as a character. I was, to say the least, not a Chuck and Blair shipper. I've always been in the path that Blair is in fact too good for Chuck. Yes, Blair is annoying, but she's also too good for Chuck. Chuck was a rapist. He was a rapist. Let's all remember that. He didn't actually rape anybody that we know of, but he definitely attempted to rape both Serena and Jenny. Within the first episode, I believe, he tried to rape both of them. Doesn't that tell us something? How did he end up being our hero? How did he end up with the best character on the show? Now, in order to believe that that could happen, I need someone who could play smarmy in the beginning, but lessen that smarm as we go on through season to season. Because the thing about Ed, who played Chuck, is that he has a very gravelly, Batman-y, smarmy guy voice. No offense to him. But that was a really big asset in the beginning when he was playing a smarmy guy. But as you grew and we're supposed to start loving him as a character and feeling for him because, you know, his dad issues and his uncle issues and all those things, his voice was still super smarmy. Sorry, it was. So I decided to bring in an actor who could play smarmy, is great with vocals, and is kind of an interesting paint of Chuck. I would like to see what he could do with that kind of an asshole kind of character, because he's always played, you know, just kind of a chill, sweet guy. I want to see him with a little edge, with a little badass to him, with a little bit of scary spice in him, and that is Karan Brar.
Tonight is for the two of us. Tonight is for the two of us. When we lean closer in the seats.
Karan Brar obviously is best known for his roles on like Jessie and Bunked and those kind of characters. He played like the same character of Ravi on a lot of different shows, but those are like where he got his seminal acting career started. He was very young, kept it going until recently. I think he still does Disney stuff. I think he does like voice work. He was also on Youth and Consequence, which is the YouTube show that Anna Kana runs, that I really do love and highly recommend to everybody. And that's where I saw him and I was like, huh. Because listen, he's always played this kind of goofy, nerdy, you know, easily stepped on, stepped over kind of kid character. And that was the first time I was seeing him in kind of a new light. I mean, I was like, oh.
What if I found something damning on Stacey Moorhead's hard drive? Would you be cool if I posted that?
No. And don't bait me.
Oh, am I baiting you? Or do I actually have something on her that you're just dying to know about?
He's all grown up. That's what I was really aiming at. Like, he's grown up. He's an actor with multiple roles, and yes, he was also in like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but again, those aren't like, you know, like heavy scenes. And Gossip Girl ain't the heaviest show, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to see what he could bring to make me like Chuck more. See, for me, my worry is kind of the opposite of what Ed as the actor did with the original Chuck. Ed played it smarmy perfectly, but it was hard to see him as likable down the road. I think Karan can do likable down the road perfectly, but it wasn't until I saw his character in Youth and Consequences that I was like, maybe he can do smarmy, because I did not see this range in him. I did not see it coming, but it did. It came and it hit me like a freight train, baby, and I was so proud of him, and I was like genuinely like, oh my god, like, again, that feeling of like, get this guy more roles. Like, what are we doing? I think it's because we all seen him as the same character for like over a decade now that we're like, nah, just the sweet, nice guy stuff. I think this is his chance to break out into that bad boy that he can be. Yes, he seems like a genuinely sweet person in real life. All the interviews I've seen of him, which is a lot, which I don't want to talk about. I went down a rabbit hole for this dude. Make it more believable that he is likable down the road. I think that would make it all the better. So that is why I have cast him as Chuck. Next up, we have our Blair. I was going to save Blair for last because she is in fact my favorite character, but I am well aware that Serena is the main character, the catalyst, the end-all be-all of the show, so we will leave her for last. But our Blair, we need someone perfect for our Blair, okay? Because Blair still is the icon of our eyes. I'm literally wearing a headband right now because of her. I wear headbands actually in my real life because of her, because she's so iconic, honest, thought-provoking, cutthroat, and has the best lines. Roll the clip.
Blair, I think you've had too much to drink.
Oh, you would know. 3 DUIs now, is it? Not that I blame you. Her way to escape the whispers that you made your money in adult entertainment websites. Not a stop along the way. I'm a destination, and if you refuse to attend, I'm gonna have to find a replacement. Girls, the waiting list. Because she likes to see the best in people. I like to see the truth. You need to be cold to be queen. Forget boys. Keep your eye on the prize, Jenny Humphrey. You can't make people love you. but you can make them fear you. Haven't you heard? I'm the crazy around here.
The way she delivers with such an edge and air to her, but still has those spaces for those inner vulnerabilities, like you see when she has that talk with Dan at the very beginning of the first season, or like when she is in the outs with Chuck.
I'm sorry, Blair. You lost the baby.
You need to have a well-rounded actress play her. And the well-rounded actress I have chosen to play her is someone who has made a name for themselves by playing a preppy, overachieving, insecure woman to the best of her abilities in the movie that I watched at Sundance, Stella and the Spades, and that is Lovey Simone.
Tonight is for the two of us. Tonight is for the two of us. When we lean closer in the seats.
Lovey Simone is, if you don't know Lovey, this is the day to say you're welcome to me for introducing you to her. She is a talent unbeknownst to the world. I originally saw her in a movie called Stella and the Spades at Sundance.
Nobody usually sees black kids going to boarding schools and having power within the boarding schools, and nobody sees a lot of like black kids in boarding schools like being in front and center and having like the white cast kind of just play as, you know, the pieces in the chessboard.
Also in that movie was Jackson from Grey's Anatomy. Hello, Daddy. Whoa. That is, sorry guys. Don't know where my mind took me. Anyways, Lovey, that's who we're talking about. She played the seminal character of Stella, who was kind of the boss bitch, a queen on campus.
Needing for himself, you know, separating himself.
I mean, if he's so insecure, he shouldn't have come here. I assume that they're hiring at Pence, right?
Seriously. Why aren't we doing balloons? Balloons are harmless.
Balloons aren't harmless. They'll start going off, it's all like bang, bang, bang. Next thing you know, one of us gets slammed to the floor because they think we've got a bomb.
Exactly. Sound familiar? Yes, while a lot of the people that I'm placing in these roles is because they don't typically fit these roles, or I think that they have the capacity to play and stretch these roles exponentially. But for the role of Blair, I feel like differently, because the role of Blair is the only character I wouldn't change a goddamn thing about. I think that she was written to the best of the best. The words that she chose to weave to cut down her enemies, the thought processes that she had. Yes, she had flaws. She was not a perfect character by any means, but she was a realistic and dynamic character. And I think that she was given the best writing on that show. And I don't necessarily need someone to come in and make her more likable. Leighton Meester made her plenty likable, made her plenty perfect, plenty of an icon. I need someone who will be able to, at the very least, fill those shoes and make the role their own. Because I don't need another Leighton Meester. Honestly, she still looks pretty young. We could put her in some makeup, throw her back in for another round to play herself again. But this is minority replacement. And so we need someone who is on the caliber of Leighton Meester as an actress, who is dynamic, who can take minutia pieces and make them into infinite stars, and that is Lovey. She is so talented with her delivery, with the air about herself that she carries. Again, someone who seems like a very sweet person behind set and just in general, but when she gets into character, you better fear that character.
Make everything louder. So escape my brains. Make everything louder. I wanna hear my eardrums break.
That character will put the fear of God in you. She will drug you and overdose you on her sass, okay? And that is what we need for the character of Blair, and that is why I've chosen to give her to Lovey. Next, we have, of course, the main role in all of this, which is Dan. If you don't know Gossip Girl, spoiler alert right now, Dan is Gossip Girl.
I mean, we always knew it was one of us, right?
I always thought it was Dorota.
You know, I actually thought it was Eric for a little bit, and then I thought it was you, Rufus.
My dad? Come on. Hey, it could have been me. I always thought it was Nate.
Did anyone think it could be me?
My mind was on the blonde broad in London.
Why do you all think that this is funny? Gossip Girl ruined our lives.
Your life really ruined Blair.
If you think about it, we're all on track to do exactly what we wanted to do.
But he schemed and lied and spread horrible stories.
Blair, I think you're just mad because Dan was the one who was pulling the strings all along.
This whole time, I had more power than you.
But what he did with that power, it was write a love letter, not just to me, but to all of us.
So we need a sneaky dude, okay? We need someone who has a face that we could trust and would never think would betray us, but emotionally will stab us in the back. And yes, Penn Badgley did play that kind of character really well, but there is someone who I think could play it even better. He has the world's most trusting face in the world. I trust no one on sight more than I did. Like, I've never looked at an actor and immediately trust them more so than I have for this actor, which is super interesting. Again, not in like a super a lot of stuff, but we need him in more roles because he is talent, baby, talent. And who I am talking about is in fact Aubrey Joseph.
Tonight is for the two of us. Tonight is for the two of us. When feeling closer in my seats.
Aubrey Joseph is best known for his role as Cloak in Cloak and Dagger, which is one of my favorite shows, and still the saddest thing that Freeform ever canceled outside of Stitchers. I still do not forgive you guys. I'm still hurting. I'm still hurting. Besides the point, he's an amazing talent. He is lovable, he is sweet, he is wholesome. He also has a down-to-earth nature about him that exudes through his character as well. Even when he was playing the role of Cloak in Cloak and Dagger, such a mystical show, they're literally superheroes, it still felt so real and grounded because of the character building that him and Olivia Holt did.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a little complicated.
I didn't know there were other kids like us.
Don't shoot!
With their two characters, they made the characters feel real, feel grounded, and feel amazing in this world, feel like they just fit so naturally into this world. And I think that is something that we need for Dan, because Dan is literally on the outsides of this world. He needs to go from being this outsider to someone who it feels natural to see him with this group of people all of a sudden. You know, that kind of acting is something that almost can't be taught.
It's less of a fear and more of a just I know my responsibility, and it's just a lot of like pressure. I mean, like I'm from the East, bro. Like all of this is a lot. You know what I mean? So it's just it's definitely nerve-wracking. It's been stressful a little bit, but you know it's just taking it in because I waited my whole life for this.
And I think that Aubrey has that skill in spades, the ability to make a scene feel comfortable and lived in the same way that Dan could. And also, I think that he could handle the snarky little quips. If there are two characters on this show, it's Blair and Dan that I would say have the most iconic lines.
She's totally calling back.
This is so weird. I don't normally do plots against people.
Don't worry, Virgin. I'll talk you through it.
Serena, I have no intention of ruining your big day. I hope you do marry this guy. Frankly, it would be the kind of desperate, attention-seeking stunt that would prove you're every bit as shallow and sad as a character in my book.
Yes, Chuck has a few as well, and Serena and all the other characters as well. I would say it literally goes Blair, Dan, Chuck, everyone else. If there's a character who could handle those complex writings, and who could also make us still root for them even when they are being the inevitable ass that they are, having threesomes that they should not, stop sleeping with Hilary Duff. That won't make sense if you've never seen the show. It's him. It's him who can make us forgive him. I feel like he has that face, that vibe, that essence of a person that he could bring into that character that would make it so believable. We still love him, you know, even though he somehow got into the club. We don't know how he's here, but he's here, so guess we better make use of it. And with that being said, we're going to go to our last person, our Serena. our Serena. We need someone. We're closing the book. Come here. Serena is a girl that cannot be played with. She's the definition of an it girl. She is on every person's runway, on every boy's vision board, on every girl's to hate list. She is so easily the most spectacular thing in a room. At least that's the character that we're trying to write. You know, I was always like, I was like, Blair's the most spectacular thing in the room. But that's the character that we're trying to portray. That Serena is the most spectacular thing in the room. And not only that, but she does it with ease. She does it on accident, And with that being said, there's only one woman who could really do it, who is in the age range that we're building currently, that could really, play this character up to have an ease of perfection, but still be deeply, and I mean deeply broken. And that is Paris.
Tonight is for the two of us. Tonight is for the two of us. When we lean closer in the seats.
Paris Braless is a actress that got her start for me, where I first realized who she was on Disney XD. Yes, I first saw her as a superhero on Disney XD in the show Mighty Med. Mighty Med was a show, obviously. It was about superheroes in the hospital that they went to get treated. Really cool concept, actually, for a show. And I actually pretty much really enjoyed it. Even when it merged with Lab Rats and became Lab Rats Elite Force within the superhero realm. It was really amazing. And it was really great casting and characters. I first saw her as this character, Skylar Storm, and it was a strong-willed Wonder Woman kind of a character show. Disney's always been a lot about female-centric shows with the odd Phil of the Future and Even Stevens, but mostly female-centric shows. Anyways, not the point of this video. The point of this video is to cast our Serena, and no one is as effortlessly talented as Paris. She's fantastic at playing very complex scenes, and that's not just from her Mighty Med experience. Even now, she was on a show, I think it's over, it might be over now, it might be wrapped, but I think there might maybe another season, I don't know. But she played a cancer patient who was a high school teenager.
I'm done with cancer forever.
Why does it bother you when someone says that you could write your essay about having cancer?
Because there are so many more things to me than just cancer.
She had just finished her chemo and was coming back into the world of high school. And she played that in the show Alexa and Katie, where she played the main character of Alexa. She was amazing in that show. She was so smart and well-rounded, but still had depth and color and character, and again exuded this same je ne sais quoi that I think Blake Lively brought to the character of Serena. This effortless perfection. Because with Blake Lively, even when you see her in A Simple Favor, when she's playing that character of the crazy girl who's a twin / triplet.
Oh, come on, you dumb shit. We spent every anniversary here. How could you not put it together?
Whatever, sorry to spoil that for you. She has an effortlessness of perfection.
Another one night stand, anything to feel something, 'cause I just don't know where.
Say anything, I just gotta feel something. Yeah, we gotta deal with things in life to find the one thing. Now I'm hunting for the one change, need to function, or the situation.
Like that scene where she is just disrobing rapidly. Effortless perfection. And Blake Lively brought that to the character of Serena and brought that to life wonderfully, I say. I mean, she, again, not my favorite character. Clearly, it's Blair. But she did do a wonderful job bringing that effervescence to life. And I think that Paris is someone who could take that torch on and bring it home. Because I just... the well-roundedness, and again, it's the sense, the key word here is just the word effortless. She has a sense of effortlessness to her in whatever role she plays. It doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't look like she's trying, it doesn't look like she's putting in work to immerse herself in character. It feels like the characters that she plays come off effortlessly as the center of attention, no matter where and what they are doing.
We have to get Skylar to Mighty but fast. She's incredibly weak.
I'm weak? You can't even do 5 push-ups.
Oh, she gets nasty when she's poisoned.
Got so much air that I hit a tree branch on the way over.
Oh, please, you know how many times I've hit my head?
At least once really hard as a baby.
Made room for one, so baby I'm yours. Oh baby I'm yours. Oh baby I'm yours. Oh baby I'm yours. Oh baby I'm yours. But I tore down my walls and opened my doors. Made room for one, so baby I'm yours. I'm mad at you for being so cute and changing my mood and altering my route. What's wrong with you?
So that is why I wanted to cast her as Serena. That being said, that is our list. That is our new Gossip Girl crew. I mean, not the real one. Hopefully you guys tune into that. Let me know if you want me to make a tipsy movie review about that, because I don't know if I will. I don't know if I'll watch it, if I'm being honest. I don't know how many more times I can let the world destroy my childhood, but I'll do what you guys say I should do. But I really, really did like this group. I really wanted to try and get younger actors, so I think that they could all play the characters fairly well, as they were just in high school a few moments ago. And again, I think that something that also runs through is that fashion. They are all also stunningly great and look great in expensive clothes.
Patience, patience, patience. I ain't got time. Just going through the motions. You tell me what I wanna hear, but never what you're feeling. Keep me in the dark, but I've had enough. I don't want forever. I just want eventually. I don't need forever. I just need some clarity.
So, and that's a big part of Gossip Girl. You gotta look good in expensive clothes. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'm Yummy.com. Don't worry, I will be back, internet friends, so stay tuned. XOXO. You know you love me.